I am Diana from the Global of the International Indigenous Peoples Movement for Self-Determination and Liberation. Today, let us take a look at how different indigenous peoples across the globe joined our call for a month-long celebration of International Indigenous Peoples Heroes Day. For this year, we not only remember the rich history of our struggle for self determination and the seeds and the lessons passed on by our heroes, martyrs, and ancestors, but reaffirm and nurture our commitment to live their legacy. To, to start us, to start us off, let us hear from Paul Belisario, the IPMSDL Global Coordinator, to reflect on IPMSDL's 14th year in line with our celebration of International Indigenous Peoples Heroes Day. Paul, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Diana, and hello to everyone who is with us in our celebration. This is not only a celebration of the recap of Indigenous Peoples Heroes Day. We are actually celebrating a lot. We have a lot to celebrate and remember this whole month of November, and one of that is the founding anniversary of the International Indigenous Peoples Movement for Self-Determination and Liberation. And greetings to everyone listening wherever you are in the world, to our Indigenous peoples communities, organizations, brothers and sisters. Getting straight to the point, 14 years of IPM-SDL is no easy feat, especially for a movement like ours that seeks to carry forward our demands for land, self-determination, and liberation without compromise. We have been consistent in this since day one. It was in 2010 when IPMSDL was founded in Baguio City during a international climate conference where we were able to gather different indigenous leaders from all over the world, from Africa, from Latin America, across Asia, in the Pacific, together with different advocates and supporters of indigenous peoples and their fight for climate justice, for environmental protection, and for the right to self-determination. Excuse me. And on this conference, it was passed as a resolution to build a global indigenous peoples movement that will carry forward the fight for self-determination against imperialist incursion and domination of the land, the culture, and the lives of indigenous peoples. And because of our firm commitment to win our struggles, we have been faced with various challenges. Some we have easily overcome because of our day-to-day practice of carrying out our work. And at the end of each day, as a movement, we are coming out wiser and stronger. Then there are challenges that have been proven difficult, yet we have persisted through them, especially when dealing with the attacks directed against our movements, our local organizations, our leaders, and our members. We have leaders and members who have been facing threats for their lives, trump-up charges, criminalizations, and other forms of state-sponsored attacks that seek to silence our just cause for land and the right to self-determination. In fact, in 2018, when Beverly Longit was serving as global coordinator of IPM-SDL, she was proscribed as one of the included in the terrorist listing of the Philippine government, tagging him as anti-government for his advocacy for the right of indigenous peoples, for social justice, along with many of 100 other activists in the Philippines. Yet, we persist. Almost a decade and a half later, 14 years, we are proud to say that we have reached greater heights. We have celebrated our victories, and we are assured that there are many, many more years to come. IPMSDL has fulfilled its task of building a movement of indigenous peoples movement, a global movement, linking national and local struggles to the fight of indigenous peoples in the global scene against our common enemy, the imperialist powers around the world. In 2019, the IPMSDL took on the challenge of hosting the Secretariat of the International League of People's Struggles Commission 10. IPMSDL has since been credited for effectively carrying out the work of the Commission, facilitating study sessions, and coming out with the analyses that benefit the entire League of People's Struggles in deepening the understanding of the indigenous peoples and national minority struggles. In 2017, through the initiative of various people's organizations, IPMSDL spearheaded the Merdeka Study Conference on West Papua, a study conference on self-determination and liberation. And on that conference, the resolution was to establish a support network, which is now IPMSDL is also hosting the Merdeka West Papua Support Network. And we are sad but also happy to celebrate the contribution of Bapak Jerry Imbiri, who left us early a few days ago, being one of the instrumental leader in building on the Merdeka West Papua Support Network. And in 2023, we were able to once again convene our members along with the new found members, networks, and allies in a self-determination conference held in Cambodia. This is the first for IPMSDL since its inception in 14 years ago to gather all its members, new allies, and networks. Through this conference and assembly, we were able to reaffirm the commitments to which IPM-SDL was built upon in its founding. The IPM-SDL's founding anniversary coincides with our celebration of the International Indigenous Peoples Heroes Day. So we believe that it is just apt that our anniversaries are celebrated along the virtue of remembering our indigenous peoples' heroes and martyrs. For this, let me honor the following people who have been instrumental in making IPM-SDL of what it is today and have left us great lessons that we can use to guide us in the following battles to come and our eventual victory. Kerlan Fanagel, Lumad leader, musician and artist, Kerlan took on many roles in advancing the rights and struggles of the Lumad, indigenous Lumad in Mindanao. He served as a board member of IPM-SDL and would later leave his position to pursue greater tasks. We would later on learn on his demise after he was martyred in a firefight between the New People's Army and the Philippine government. He chose the path of armed resistance and died fighting for the oppressed. For this, we give Kerlan the highest respect and tribute possible. Bapak Jerry, or Bapak Leo as we know him, Bapak Jerry Mbiri, our West Papuan beloved leader and the founding member of IPM-SDL. Pak Jerry was with us since day one and stayed true to his values and principles until his last breath. This last week, November 23, Pak Jerry died after recovering from a coma. His death comes as he was out of his hand to speak at a meeting and carry out his work as an activist. But he would meet his untimely death just days later. IPM-SDL can attest to Jerry's undying commitment to the struggle and his resolve to carry out his work for the people of West Papua and for the indigenous peoples around the world, even as he has already been battling for several years due to health complications because of his diabetes. We remember their names, but more importantly, we remember the lessons they have left us. Kerlan, Jerry, and many, many more of our heroes and martyrs have already laid the ground. Our task now is to continue building on these lessons and sacrifices. The road has already been cleared for a long time now, and now our work is to trek this path towards liberation and self-determination. To more years of struggle and victories, let us learn from our Indigenous peoples' heroes and march forward towards a brighter future for Indigenous peoples in the planet. Long live the International Indigenous Peoples Movement for Self-Determination and Liberation. Long live the Indigenous peoples of the world. Long live international solidarity.
Thank you very much, Paul, for that inspiring message. Indeed, we have already done much, but there is much more to be done in the name of self-determination and liberation. The lessons passed on to us by our Indigenous peoples heroes are with us through this. So, to continue, let us look at how folks from Nigeria celebrated International IP Heroes Day, followed by a presentation from Bangladesh honoring hero and martyr MN Larma.
We are here tonight, in the 9th of November 2024, to celebrate and also mourn at the same time the brutal killing of Ken Saro-Wiwa and 8 other Ogoni activists 29 years ago. So every November 9, leading to November 10 when they were murdered, we used to gather to do what we call a candlelight vigil. So tonight we are here in our numbers to also do what we call candlelight vigil. Any moment from now, we are going to march to the prison where they were executed, and then we will march to the cemetery here where they were buried. And we'll be here till about 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning. And it is not only here, all over the world, people are gathering their numbers to commemorate and mourn that wicked act of the Nigerian government and chef.
le da bari yo awo ni ale yan kuneke ako ale na vete nu ne de liwe onu ne o abaleda leda 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 abaleda leda 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 abaleda leda 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 baby baby pogodi baby ne ke sikako barabo Pogo.
চট্টগ্রাম জনসংহতি সমিতি কেন্দ্র কমিটিকে পুষ্পমাল্য অর্পণ করার জন্য বিনীতভাবে অনুরোধ জানাচ্ছি। এরপরে প্রস্তুত থাকবেন পার্বত্য চট্টগ্রাম জনসংহতি সমিতি উপদেষ্টা কমিটি, চট্টগ্রাম জনসংহতি সমিতি উপদেষ্টা কমিটি এবং পরিবারবর্গ। পুষ্পমাল্য অর্পণ করছেন পার্বত্য চট্টগ্রাম জনসংহতি সমিতি রাঙ্গামাটি জেলা কমিটি। পুষ্পমাল্য অর্পণ করছেন পার্বত্য চট্টগ্রাম আঞ্চলিক পরিষদ ভাইস চেয়ারম্যান ভাইস ভবন সদস্যবৃন্দগণ। এরপর প্রস্তুত থাকবেন পার্বত্য চট্টগ্রাম যুব সমিতি রাঙ্গামাটি। পুষ্পমাল্য অর্পণ করছেন পার্বত্য চট্টগ্রাম বাল ছাত্র পরিষদ কেন্দ্রীয় কমিটি। পুষ্পমাল্য অর্পণ করবেন ত্রিশূল শিল্পী গোষ্ঠী। আদিবাসী ফোরাম পার্বত্য চট্টগ্রাম অঞ্চল।
বঞ্চিত জনগণের মুক্তির প্রেরণা জাগে
Those were just some of the activities from Ogoniland and Bangladesh, celebrating the lives of heroes Ken Saro-Wiwa and M.N. Norma. Now, we'd like to call on our brother Dodo to express solidarity from the Karen people, honor their indigenous people's hero, followed by videos from Indonesia and the Philippines.
Hello.
Dodo.
Yeah, thank you so much. And sorry. And it is very my honor to join this important event to wrap up our IP Heroes Day. And on behalf of our current indigenous people in Kodule, we also would like to express the solidarity, the how IPMSGL play a key role in helping and amplifying the voice, the concerns of our movement, our IP in current state, current area movement. And this year we were not able to organize the event, because we also prepare another important event, coming very soon in December. In December, we're going to officially launch our another IP conserved territory in another area apart from the Southern Peace Park. So we are quite busy with that preparation, and then we're also very excited, excited to have this, this IP territory launch and then declare globally. So we wish that you were able to join us, but given the current political situation with the Burmese junta, the regime, threat of the the airstrike and also the artillery shelling thing. So we also take this issue very seriously, but with this kind of determination, we process, and also we in we continue to achieve our dream of having this territory declare around the world. And I also would like to thank everyone at PMSGL. Congratulations, for this anniversary and organizing this event. I think this is very important that, we need to honor our brother, sister, our parents, those who have been fighting and also defending our ancestral territories for many generations, for this right, to be passed on to the next generation. So this is the only thing that we have to do to protect our land, our territories, because this is our heritage, everything's there. So it is our responsibility collectively. It's our responsibility to do that. So we have to honor, remember those who have sacrificed their life in defending our territory. So to show our solidarity with other IP in networks and community around the world, we keep doing this, and hopefully next year, we'll be able to organize the IP Hero Days in SPP and plus other current IP areas, so that we will also share message, a short video, through this platform. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Dodo.
Thank you.
The Alliance Masyarakat Adat Nusantara Aman, different indigenous advocates and groups, along with the civil society organizations and individuals expresses urgent concern the Pocolyok indigenous community related to the expanded geothermal power plant. Describe the attackers, including the prescribed to by Indonesian government-owned bank. T stands our of the Pokyok indigenous community. The Alyansi Masyarakat Adat Nusantara Aman and different indigenous peoples organizations, advocates, and groups, along with the civil society organizations and individuals, expresses urgent concern about the ongoing human rights violations against the Pocolyok indigenous community related to the expansion of the Ulumbu geothermal power plant. This letter describes the attack on human rights defenders, including the physical violence and detention, as well as the violations of indigenous people's right to free, prior, and informed consent. The geothermal power plant project is an energy company owned by Indonesian government and financed by a German state-owned bank. The community stands with all our indigenous peoples heroes, gives honor and celebrate by carrying their legacy, by carrying their fight to protect our land and our rights. Long live the struggle of the Pocolyok indigenous community in Indonesia.
Kung upama mamatay ako kung kamantal ay barang sa warang mga iko ng kuwan.
The Regional Federation of Indigenous Peoples in Southern Tagalog o Bigkis at Lakas ng mga Katutubo sa Timog Katagalugan o Balatik joins the global commemoration of Indigenous Peoples Heroes Day this 10th of November. Many of the country's Indigenous Peoples Heroes hail from the Southern Tagalog region, wakened since childhood to the cruel reality of land grabbing, forced displacement, and degradation of sacred land by large-scale mining, large dams, and other business ventures guised as development projects, which all eventually drive out indigenous peoples from their ancestral lands. We raise our fists high for IP heroes who not only protected the rights of their own community, but also that of the Filipino people when they stood their ground against plunder and state fascism. We salute the likes of Pidong Liwanag o Mangyan Iraya and Nicanor de los Santos o Dumagat, who were noble leaders of indigenous peoples organizations. We remember the IP rights defenders killed in the 2021 Bloody Sunday Massacre. Among them were Dumagat, Puroy de la Cruz, and Randy de la Cruz, and we continue to call for the release of IP activists and allies unjustly arrested and persecuted by the Philippine government. Justly arrested and persecuted by the Philippine What we just saw were submissions from Indonesia and the Philippines. Now, moving on, let's see how our brothers and sisters from West Papua celebrated International Indigenous Peoples Heroes Day, followed by IPMSDL's tribute message to Bapak Jerry Imbiri.
Hello, my name is Esther Haluk. I am from West Papua. I am indigenous West Papuan and also women human rights defenders. And in this International Indigenous Peoples Heroes Day, I am sending message to the indigenous people around the world that this fighting that we have fought against intruders that come to our land, our territory is not over yet. We will continue to fight for our rights. And in West Papua, we are having several activities in order to remember about the heroes, the people that contribute to our community, each and every community, for women and also for men, indigenous people of West Papua.
For Indigenous Peoples Heroes Day, youth, communities, and organizations in West Papua conducted several mobilizations and actions to reject the transmigration program of the Prabowo government in West Papua. The program packaged as distribution of what the government deemed as an abandoned land further marginalizes indigenous peoples and aggravates the decade-long conflict in West Papua. Transmigration in Indonesia started under the Dutch colonization, but wasn't implemented as an official government policy until 1970. Transmigration worsens land dispute in West Papua. The removal of indigenous Papuans from their lands paved way for corporations to exploit the resources in the area. For Indigenous Peoples Heroes Day, West Papuans carry on the legacy of the heroes, martyrs, and ancestors who fought against colonization and the encroachment of their lands. Long live Indigenous peoples, West Papuan martyrs and ancestors. Reject the transmigration program. Free West Papua.
Hi everyone, my name is Samuel Sigor from West Papua. My organization is Gempar Papua, or in English is Liberation People Movement. My organization focuses on indigenous people on the environmental issue. On this occasion, I would like to wish all of us a happy Indigenous People Heroes Days wherever we are. I also want to convey a message of solidarity to Indigenous peoples in the Philippines, Manipur, Kashmir, Myanmar, our brothers and sisters in Africa, in Latin America, and of course, especially to my brothers and sisters in the Pacific, as well as all indigenous warriors everywhere. That today we are the frontline warriors at the forefront of defending our traditional forests, our rivers, our oceans from the threat of the land grabbing exploitations of natural resources in the name of development. We are protect all of this for the good of the earth, of humanity's future from the increasingly worrying threat of the climate crisis. Therefore, my message to all of us is stay united, connect with each other on the work agenda, and fight together until our goals are achieved. I also want to share our dire situation in West Papua that currently, especially in the south of Tanah Papua, we are facing that land grabbings that Indonesia government will grab until 2 million hectares. You can imagine that it's very big, and also it will give bad impact for indigenous people there. So I need your support and solidarity for our people there. That's all. Thank you. With my respect, Samarum Siwar.
Kaka Jerry, West Papuan leader, Indigenous Peoples hero. It is with a heavy heart that we share with you the passing of Kaka Leonard Jerry Imbiri, a dedicated West Papuan leader, founding member, and member of the International Coordinating Council of the International Indigenous Peoples Movement for Self-Determination and Liberation, and a fighter for the cause of self-determination of indigenous peoples around the world. Through and through, Kaka Jerry has been a committed advocate of international solidarity amongst indigenous peoples. He has been with the IPMSDL since its founding in 2010 in the Philippines. He served as the General Secretary of Dewan Adat Papua, Papua Customary Council, established to protect and advocate for the rights of indigenous Papuans, particularly concerning their cultural, social, and economic well-being. He also served as the executive director of Yayasan Anak Dusun Papua, o YEDUPA, an organization that has organized and developed the capacity and participation of Papuan youths. He played an important role in establishing and sustaining both formations founded in 2002 and 2003, respectively. His dedication to West Papua's struggle for their rights and self-determination is vital in conducting Merdeka, a study conference on self-determination and liberation focusing on West Papua in 2017. The conference gave birth to the global Merdeka West Papua Support Network, which IPMSD hosts. He will always be remembered for emphasizing the need to help the youth lead and carry on the IP struggles, and in his strong position against militarization, colonial and imperialist occupation, and human rights violations. In the last Ignite Global Indigenous Peoples Conference, or IPMSDL Self-Determination Conference and Assembly in October 2023, Jerry was given tribute and recognition together with Igorot leader Joanna Patricia Quintanar Carino as Indigenous elders and tireless leaders exemplary in their work for human rights, Indigenous people's rights, democracy, and social justice. Last November 23rd, after his long-time battle against diabetes and other health complications, we learned about his demise. IPMSDL is witness to Jerry's dedication to carrying out work for the West Papuan and all indigenous peoples' movement for liberation. Despite his ailments and other health concerns, Jerry made sure to make himself available and capable of carrying out his work as an activist. In fact, before he was rushed to the hospital, Jerry was in Jakarta to speak at a meeting. He would later fall into a coma and wake up, but would meet his untimely demise on the morning of November 23rd. We offer our highest tribute to a dearly beloved elder and leader, a brother and a father, and a friend in the struggle for self-determination and a better future. Long live the legacy of Kaka Jerry. Long live Indigenous Peoples Heroes. Papa Merdeka.
Indeed, we greatly honor Bapak Jerry and the many more heroes of West Papua. Free West Papua, Papua Merdeka. Now, let's see how our Saba and Sarawak indigenous brothers and sisters celebrated IP Heroes Day. And let's hear from the Asia Young Indigenous Peoples Network for a cultural performance.
Adil Catalino, Bacuramin ka Saruga, Basengat ka Jubata, and Kopisunduan. Greetings of peace and solidarity. I am Dato Patinggi Atamakatama, an indigenous activist and artist from Sabah, Borneo. On behalf of my Dusun indigenous peoples of Tambunan Sabah, along with the Dayak indigenous peoples across Borneo, Indonesia, Borneo, Malaysia, and Borneo, Brunei, we extend our highest tribute and honor to the many indigenous peoples heroes and martyrs across the world. We offer this musical performance to our heroes, namely Balang of Katibas Sarawak, Aki Antanom, Ontoros of Murut Rundum, Aki Sagunting of the Dusun Liwan, Aki Pangsuma of the Dayak Desa tribe of West Kalimantan, and also to our living hero, our paramount thinker, Huguan Sio Lundo Mirongod, Panglima Bujang Brani, Dr. Jeffrey G. Kitingan, for their sacrifices and lessons, and as well to all who have sacrificed their lives in the name of climate justice, land rights, self-determination, and liberation.
Tumadag nga atas ikaw kabis minandag. Itaking kamo tagavong nga idito. Itana vokal tuneya na megaphone ko. Daga na tolay kami na maginasing imatalitay nyo. Duwa na boses imatalaw ko taunono na ko.
I hear you, the warriors of spirit, mothers who sought life with each breath, fathers who sang to bees and fishes, and gestures of memory, love and hope, the ones who grew pet for us all.
For you who chose a self-determined path, and you whose legacy flourished in the silence, whose stories were nearly uprooted for the fallen, the fierce, the forgotten. You are life in each breath I take.
I honor you, and the land sings back, each stone a witness to your strength. Let me live your voice, let me chant your prayers. Let us bridge the dreams you fought for, so our future will not be lost.
You taught us to walk in beauty, to hold this art as our sacred mother, to guard our ways like dear lips, a light that will not dim, a promise I vow to keep.
So hear me now, ancestors, martyrs, and heroes of our existence. I stand here young and unbroken, carrying forward your heartbeat and the wildflowers that you planted long ago.
Thank you to our brothers and sisters from Sabah and Sarawak, and of course, our creative indigenous youth from IEPIN. Now, let us quickly take a look at how IPMSDL gathered our brothers and sisters, allies, and network throughout the whole month to celebrate IP Heroes Day.
Our vision for justice means embracing indigenous wisdom on helping resolution of conflicts, mutual respect, and balance. And our heroes, we believe, remind us of the importance of this unity and movement building.
So if your river is polluted, you can no longer fish. If your land is short, polluted, there is no more harvest. It will increase, it drop. And in an environment where there is a sense of government, every community, every household has like 2 or 3 generating sets. You provide your own electricity.
The fight is not over. The fight is not over until all of us indigenous activists, human rights defenders, get to live without the risk of being killed. Get to advocate without the risk of being killed. So,
because during that time, government took the immigration policy just to outnumber indigenous people in our own land. By this time, government settled down 400,000 Bengali settlers in Chittagong tracts, and at the same time, they militarized the whole regions.
IPM still to give to invite West Papuan people. I'm on behalf of West Papuan people to share you about our comrades who have been who have become martyrs for the struggle for the right of self-determination in West Papua.
The struggle of the heroes from the indigenous are so powerful, and I know that it's not too easy to get what we want to do.
It is our gratitude that we have ancestors and forefathers who demonstrate to us that if we fully commit ourselves, we can stand firm together and united to achieve any that we desire, including our self-determination.
In closing, let us stand united in the face of adversity, inspired by the bravery of those who came before us. Together, as we live our heroes' legacy, we will build a future where indigenous peoples everywhere can thrive, our lands, culture, and rights are respected, and justice and peace reign for all.
Kemusnahan hidup kita akibat penyakit tamak. Mereka yang berlumba untuk permit berlampak. Kemusnahan bumi kita akibat penyakit tamak. Mereka yang berlumba untuk permit berlampak. Kita bersuara kerana sayang, berjabat tangan mari berjuang. Tahan adat budaya, sayangi warisan tanah. Seluruh dunia kita sudah bersatu, meredasi benua, menyambut asal dan usul. Perjuangan kita adalah untuk satu, mempertahankan tanah ibu dan adat budaya. Bumiku semakin genat dijangkiti kuasa duit, dibuat oleh manusia yang jahil dan berhati pahit. Kerajaan seluruh dunia hanya mampu melihat saja, sesat mencari jalan bagaimana untuk mengubatinya. Kemusnahan hidup kita akibat penyakit tamak. Mereka yang berlumba untuk permit berlampak. Kemusnahan bumi kita akibat penyakit tamak. Mereka yang berlumba untuk permit berlampak.
Kita bersuara kerana sayang, berjabat tangan mari berjuang. Bertahan adat budaya, sayangi warisan tanah.
Kemusnahan hidup kita akibat penyakit tamak. Mereka yang berlumba untuk permit berlampak. Kemusnahan bumi kita akibat penyakit tamak. Mereka yang berlumba untuk permit berlampak.
Kita bersuara kerana sayang, berjabat tangan mari berjuang. Bertahan adat budaya,
ancestors of memory, love, and hope. The ones who grew pet for us all.
For you who chose a self-determined path, and you whose legacy flourished in the silence, whose stories were nearly uprooted for the fallen, the fierce, the forgotten, you are life in each breath I take.
Hello, everyone. It's good to meet you all. Thank you again for joining us for the second part of our Unmute webinar towards language justice and solidarity interpreting.
My name is Katie, and I am a conference interpreter. You are not only focusing on the language, you're also respecting the style, the register, the tone when you are interpreting. You're helping people from different backgrounds to avoid any types of misunderstanding. So that's also an exercise of what we call, cultural, if you like, translation. And the main thing is that you're conveying the key messages from therefore one language and one culture to another, and you're doing this instantly. And so it's important for the interpreter to also understand not just the languages, but also the different cultures and the customs and the speech modes of the different countries.
Ini menjadi penerjemah. Dia sebetulnya ketika dia berusia 25 tahun, dia bekerja di Manila.
Nais ko munang ibahagi kung paano ako naging isang interpreter o tagapagsalin. Noong ako ay 25,
organisasi non-pemerintah yang memiliki kampanye positif untuk menumbuhkan rasa cinta terhadap hutan di Indonesia.
I think what we see today is like the first time to interpret, and that's really good for Zatki. Thank you.
As in November 10, IPM SDL has declared to give honor, to remember the names, remember the legacy, and to continue carry on what our indigenous peoples, heroes, martyrs, and ancestors has fought for.
We would like to acknowledge our partners who have shown interest in organizing Kalikasan at Komunidad Abangkulala SNC Policy Forum in collaboration with UPDEP Cultural Committee, co-presented by International Indigenous Peoples Movement for Self-Determination and Liberation.
Chico River Dam project. This was quite some time ago. We can update because, of course, it continues to be relevant. No, the lessons that were learned from this Chico River Basin Dam project continues to be relevant today. So, the Chico River is the largest river system in the Cordillera. No.
So, as an overview, we have a complex power industry. The supervisor of the industry is the Department of Energy.
Of course, thank you, Manang Joanna, and everyone here. For the STS students, we don't want to miss the opportunity to invite everyone because this issue of the Cordillera peoples, the struggle against Chico Dam, we owe it a lot from IPM SDL on how we really developed and started the Indigenous Peoples Heroes Day that we commemorate every November 10. And now we are commemorating it for the whole month of November. And we want everyone to join us and honor their name because I think we owe it a lot to them of whatever we have now on the issue of climate, on the issue of environment, on the issue of what kind of development do we really need to push forward our society.
ICHIP shares your anger at the forcible closure of over 200 LUMAD schools in the past 5 years by the military and the Department of Education. We see the 10,000 LUMAD students now denied access to an education and we reaffirm our commitment to stand alongside you in asserting all your rights.
The Tala Ingo 13 case embodies a much broader struggle. 13 of us, educators, advocates, and even a parliamentarian stand falsely accused of child abuse. But these charges are merely a facade to cover a deeper issue: the suppression of indigenous rights.
In conclusion, the prosecution's case against the Talaingot 13 is fraught with weaknesses, misinterpretation, and lack of substantial evidence. The actions of the teachers and mission delegates were only motivated by a genuine concern for the safety and welfare of the children. And the charges of child abuse and conspiracy are unfounded and unjust. The verdict fails to consider the broader context of systematic or systemic violence and harassment faced by the Lumad communities for many years, further perpetuating injustice against indigenous peoples in the Philippines.
The current Defend Talaingod 13 movement, initiated by various groups, in describing the decision of the lower trial court as a miscarriage of justice.
By standing with us, you are helping protect the right of Lumad children to learn safely, to dream, and to live in dignity. Your solidarity is a powerful force, and together we can return this injustice around. Please stand with us in this fight. Stand with us to protect the right of Lumad girls to education, to end the cycle of repression, and to restore the hope we once had. Let us work together to build a future where everyone and every Lumad child can learn safely, grow with dignity, and create a better life for themselves and their families.
Fighting for the future that our heroes, martyrs, and ancestors paved the way for means strengthening and supporting each other's struggles for self-determination in different forms. It forges greater international solidarity, and it gives a special space to nurture our indigenous youth, women, and all genders. We take strides to understand and cultivate indigenous people's culture to make it blossoms. Building a strong anti-imperialist, anti-fascist indigenous people's movement for our communities and people's aspiration for self-determination to thrive. We'd like to thank each and every one of you who supported and joined us in celebrating International Indigenous Peoples Heroes Day. Of course, special thanks to our partners and co-presenters for this year's celebration. We leave you with this short video from our allies and network joining us in our call. Live the fight, live the legacy. Long live Indigenous Peoples Heroes. Fight for land, rights, and self-determination. And everyone in Zoom link, kindly stay after the video for a quick photo with each other. Thank you.